Da-dee da ba boo da do. Hey, hey, boo boo ba da da. Eat that do. I sound like a Muppet. I'm Dr. Teeth, and I'm here to sing. Welcome to the Blathering Live. You know why I'm wild? I'll tell you why I'm wild. Just had a piece of cheese. That's right, straight from the block. I did cut it off. Laser bolt, don't you worry about it. I did slice off a piece of cheese. I'm apt to do that a lot. It's the Monday edition of the show in which we hang out together, you and I. I talk about news, sports, weather, traffic on the 10s. No, this is a lot of fun hanging out with all of you as the Blathering goes to episode. I said last time out it was episode 153. Or 154. This is 154. We're doing some tree trimming behind my window if you're hearing anything like that tonight. Shout out to James Holmes checking in for the UK late over there, saying, hello there, 5 months. My, how time flies. He is a member of this channel. You too could become a YouTube member supporting this channel here, and that way you can get access to the call links, the Monday show, the Thursday show, the Saturday show. Good night, James. He checks in and then leaves. Then you can also support on Patreon at patreon.com/Napzok. I've got a goal that if I hit a goal of paid supporters on Patreon at any level, I might unveil a Blathering lunchtime show or something, maybe at least twice monthly. I should probably wait to see where some of my employment lands. Will McLean asking questions already. Will, has a baseball season ever been over on March 31st? Feels that way in Hotlanta. Has there been some injury? Please say Matt Olson's healthy. Please say Matt Olson is healthy. What's going on in Atlanta? Oh, Profar suspended 80 games for PEDs. Well, you know what? Get those needles out your butts, kids. All right. A lot on the show tonight. 16 seconds of sports with producer Steve on the way. We're going to talk the Blather bracket. That's right. We end round 1, the 64 round of our March Madness tournament, our March Madness inspired tournament, the Blather bracket. Hot upsets coming away about 4:30. Billy Business is here. He's talking crap about my Yankees, saying they just need those Yankee bats. Let me tell you something. Those Yankee bats are legal. They're legal. And until the commissioner of baseball says something else, the Yankees are going to hit 9 home runs every 14 innings. Or something like that. It's a crazy night because I've got a black cherry White Claw. Yeah, we're doing it. I'm not leaving the house after this. Billy says I sound like a Republican lawyer. This is the New York Yankees we're talking about. They're God's team. You think you're the gift of baseball? Well, by God, I am baseball. Laser ball. They're legal. They're legal bats. They're legal. They're within the rules. They're scientifically engineered bats. The Dodgers threw $300 million at any player near their area code. That's stuffing things more than those bats. Science bats. You guys stop. I love my Yankees. If it was another team, I'd be calling for an investigation. If the Milwaukee Brewers were doing this, I'd be like, Rhys Hoskins doesn't hit balls that far. Laserbolt says, as soon as everyone uses them, they'll be banned. That's probably true. What will happen is the first time one of these bats causes a major injury, when you can hit the ball so hard and far that it takes like an outfielder's eyeball out. That'll be the problem. Billy Business asks, what's in the bat? Wood. This isn't a Sammy Sosa bat circa 2005 or whatever that was. When did he go up on those Super Bowls? It's amazing. As a kid, when you learn that you can scoop out the center of a bat and put Super Balls in it, that's when the game it just gets really exciting. Where you're like, "Ooh, can I put a rubber ball in my bat too?" Giggity. Francisco Lindor's been using them since last year. There you go, Billy. Now you're anti-Met. You're an anti-Met fan now too, huh? My White Claw's good. Really looking forward to at the call. The call at the bottom of the hour, 16:30 hours here in the West Coast. Continuing the Blather bracket, we got some upsets coming in, and it's going to be good. Top of the show, we'll take some calls here. And Billy said we might have to get Billy on this show here. Actually, look, in all seriousness, Billy Business Writes. Hal and I talk about this all the time. I'm all for steroids in baseball. Sosa, McGuire, Bonzero was made to watch. There's a truth to that can't be denied. There's a truth to that. It's one of those I do not condone. I do not want to tell children that this is the way to do it. But it was a crazy time in sports, in baseball. All right. I did want to talk up top here. You all do not have to do this. I backed a political candidate today, and not in an area that I am a representative by, but it's America, so I feel I should be represented. Kate Abu Hazal. Oh my God, I said it off air. Kate Abu Hazala. This is going to be one of her problems. This is going to be, people are going to have a tough time. Abu Ghazala. I said it off air. I practiced it in a mirror. Anyways, we talked a little bit about her on Anytime, and I supported her today. Put the link for her website in there. Never suggesting that any of you need to either support political candidates with any money. I tossed, I'm not going to lie, it was an under $5 support because that's all Daddy can do right now. But she's not necessarily looking for the dollar amount right now. She's looking for, at the time I supported, about 500 more supporters. Here's what's fascinating about her. She is a reporter, investigative journalist, a streamer. She's, I think, early 30s. I don't even know the exact age. And while that doesn't matter, it matters. Because I was fascinated by the idea when it first was brought across my table on the Anytime show. But now, what I looked into today, shout out to our buddy Dan Larson, who retweeted his support for her, and it caused me to look at her website. And I dropped the website link here on the show if you're watching live. catforillinois.com. She is fascinating because of the way she is speaking. She's one of you, meaning also the younger ones out there, where even someone in my age bracket, she's 26. Okay, Eli, thank you, Eli, 26. She has the maturity of someone in the 30s. Even someone like me, if I was to run, I would hope you get on board. But I got too much gray in my beard. She's 26. Maxwell Frost's in his late 20s now too, right? She is out there speaking like you all. When I say you all, I'm talking about the younger demographic out there. Dems, lefties, progressives, whatever, those who do not feel they're represented. And this is a primary challenge. She's not running right now up against Republicans. She's running Illinois to primary the incumbent. And this is a call for change. But what I loved about her speeches, her videos she dropped, they were videos. They were this. They were a microphone, a streaming chair. It's you, again, this general you. And well-spoken, smart, insightful, but also dropped an F-bomb. And that wouldn't fly. Howard Dean was knocked out of a presidential campaign for screaming too loud with a fist pump. And everyone's like, oh, no. We're past that, right? We're past that. It's time for a new paradigm. And I was really just blown away by what she was saying. And also the idea that she is 26, as I've been now. Eli says, and I not just me, but the older you get, you look at the generations behind you. So I don't care if you're in your 20s, you're going to look at a 14-year-old, and at one point you're going to be like, oh, Oh, honey, that's cute. You think that, but wait till you get 21 or wait till you turn 25. So I have that too. I know you're in your 20s and you're full of this passion. Just wait till you hit 35. Just wait till you hit 40. She's at 26 running for office and is learning things about how to run for office, some of which is shocking about, oh, this is how this works. She has a video explaining, those campaign texts you get. We have a midnight deadline. Please, could you help Chuck Schumer get over the finish line by midnight? And she is being open and transparent about why in a way that I think a lot of people in her generation haven't been exposed to, or people in my generation just didn't care to learn about. And we just instead got cynical about the text. She's speaking the language. It's fascinating. Will she win? Will she win her primary? Will 26-year-old journalist and streamer get enough momentum to win in this district in Illinois? I don't know. Stranger things have happened. A woman working her way through life as a bartender with a college degree in her back pocket becomes one of the most watched and battled political individuals out there in AOC. So stranger things can happen. Good things can happen. But it's been fascinating. We are going to talk more about it on any time. But how I think this is the first time I've seen a can. Maxwell Frost is in that. Some of those representatives at the state level in Tennessee, I forget their names, who were kicked out, banned because they were outspoken a bit against guns. They had the energy of youth. And the tide could turn. And this is the first kind of line in the sand that I've seen that I'm like, yep, I get it. This might be something. The moment she dropped an F-bomb in her introductory political video, just it clicked in for me. So anyways, I donated for Kate for Congress, Illinois' 9th District. It's not, you want to hesitate to do official blathering endorsements. But if you want to look into it, I did drop the link up there. Chris Kiefer checking in today as well. Vermont Mike 89884M has the wait, she's my age vibe. Oh, when that hits, Brady, when you're like, oh wait, someone my age is running for government or that kind of stuff. You can do it. Look, you can do it. The mayor of Burbank is in her early 30s. And doing great things. Burbank has been made a sanctuary city, which is, with our past, it's an interesting and positive change for the city. And at 33, she's actually united some in the area. So get out there. Get out there. All right. We have got some calls coming in here, and I'm going to get to those. I think that's about it. I'll take it. Laserbolt says bartenders do tend to be smart. He would know. The man behind Forest Meats would know. All right. Let me get the calls set up here. We're going to bring in Addie. Addie, I can tell right now you're driving. Are you safe? Where's Padme? Is she all right?
No, she's dead, Ken.
Damn. I had high hopes for her. All right, you're calling in.
She's dead. Democracy's dead. What are we going to do?
Lisa, with Thunder Supplies. Now, just tell me you've got 10 and 2. You've got your hands 10 and 2 and your hands free.
I am hands-free. I am not at 10 and 2.
Okay. I can't remember last time I drove to 10 and 2, but what are you going to do? What's on your mind today? Good.
I'm at about 9 and 5.
That's good. 9 and 5. I don't, I'm going to look at chat here right now. Who here actually drives 10 and 2? Nah. Vermont Mike, he's more of an 8 and 4. Vermont Mike says 9 and 3 with airbags. Yeah, that's fair. Laserbolt's he's a noon. He's a noon. Mike Fink's checking in. Mike Fink's 6 o'clock. He drives down here, I bet. What a way to make a living.
I did just have to take it off the 9 to give somebody the finger, so
You're out there fighting. It's good to hear from you. I know you've been working hard. And some things not going well, some things good. What's going on with you? What's on your mind tonight? What's your question?
Oh, I mean, going on, I am not well physically, emotionally, financially. Like we are on the struggle bus over here. But
okay.
you wore an appropriate hat for my question tonight.
Yeah, for those listening, I decided I don't do this often. I wore a Star Wars shirt and a Game of Thrones beanie because it's kind of the show tonight.
Well, I didn't even put that together. I have a House of the Dragon related question for you because I have completed the Game of Thrones rewatch I started, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's where we are. And I went straight into Hot D because needed something.
Sure.
And I have a what if for you, Ken.
Okay. Okay.
What
I'm listening.
would have happened
Yeah.
if Viserys had done what Otto suggested and betrothed Rhaenyra and Aegon?
I think we would have had peace in the land. I think it's the best chance. It was a bit of a weird decision, but you know what I mean? It was the best chance to maybe solidify things a little bit more. Look, would things have still happened? Yeah, it's the world of Westeros. People are going to do what they're going to do, but I think it might have been the best chance to calm the land. You? What do you think?
I have to agree, although I question whether or not Rhaenyra would have gone along with it.
Correct.
And also, even if she did publicly go along with it, I could still see her pulling some shenanigans as far as who the father of her children actually is.
Which, as not I don't. Hey, for those who haven't watched the show yet, get to it. Yeah, Rhaenyra, she's a rock and roll wild child, and plays loose with some of the things. Yeah, I like it.
I feel like she would have had as a rock and roll wild child, the fact that she was 14 by the time Aegon was born. I don't think she would have been a patient waiter.
Look, that's the dotted line. That you can color outside the lines. Rhaenyra would have found a way, like you said.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. She would not have. She would have not in the way Cersei fought against Tywin, but she would have been absolutely not. Even if I have to, absolutely not.
There's also part of me that's curious what would have happened if she and Daemon had acted sooner.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. That's rock and roll wild child stuff there. You going for your dad's brother? I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, Rhaenyra?
That's less weird than marrying your half brother?
Yeah, it is the wonderful world of Game of Thrones where you can say things like that and everyone will go, "Yeah, you're right." Remember, we as a world and a fandom cheered in some levels Cersei and Jaime, oh, but it's so sweet.
I still ship Dany and Jon.
Yeah. And again, in the world of Game of Thrones, slightly less weird than Cersei and Jaime.
Yeah, I think Dany and Jon are slightly less weird because they weren't raised together. They didn't grow up.
Sure. Yeah.
As
They didn't know.
Aunt and nephew, is that what it was?
Yeah. That was his aunt. He didn't know. He was just at a party.
I think it's weirder if you willingly fall in love with your aunt. I think that's weirder.
Yeah. No, John's okay. And then he did the right thing, I think, when he found out. He was like, "I'm going to get off this train. I'm going to punch my ticket. I'm gone." I think we're good.
To get off the train.
He did what he could. All right.
You ride the dragon. Okay.
All right.
We got more important things to get to. I
want to make sure you get home safe. This is what's on my mind, Addie. You might be driving like Vermont Mike, call it into the show, using your knees to steer and eating like a frozen yogurt or something. I don't know what's going on there.
I mean, I'm almost there.
Okay. Well, check in when you're safe.
I can almost see my apartment.
That's
one more bend.
One more bend? Okay. Don't dox yourself. We'll start describing the trees. All right.
They
Get
can't
home,
see
please.
me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. They can make it out. They can listen. They can listen to the trees. They can hear the rustling.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Addie. That's a good what if. Hope I answered okay.
Yeah, these are the things that come to my brain.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that you thought I answered it okay. I'm not convinced there. Not convinced. Not convinced.
It was a very succinct answer.
Yeah. I don't know House of the Dragon as much as the other show. I don't.
That's fair.
So I don't swim around in it as much.
I swim around in it a lot. I don't know that I enjoy it more than Game of Thrones, but I definitely I rewatch it before new episodes air. So
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I like it slightly less, but I love it because it's the world I absolutely love.
And I think I do think I like it slightly more because it's got that girl power energy. But anyway.
Girl power. Yeah, no, absolutely. Season 1 especially. All right, Eddie. Thank you.
You're welcome. I can.
Addie. Oh, sorry. I did. That was me. Cut off Addie. You don't ever cut off a doctor. Don't cut off a doctor. It's not good etiquette. Cam Haas checking in here, and Cam Haas says, choosing the Blathering over my Jays tonight. I have feeling money monies will be the same. You could have 2 screens. 2 screen me. Turn me down and just listen to the Jays. Who's the announcers up there now? I don't know. Bottom of the hour, just a few minutes away. Producer Steve's coming back on, and we are going to be talking about some sports action, but also we are going to be discussing the Blather bracket. I've got to get my fantasy baseball up. Should not have had this White Claw today. Let me check my fantasy team today. It's okay. Not a lot of teams playing today. Second Screen Entertainment. That is me. Hey, if you want to call on the show, you know what you got to do. Be a YouTube channel member or a Patreon supporter. Thank you very much. Cameron Haas says Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez. I like Dan Shulman. That's a good announcer team. Buck Martinez, former catcher for the Blue Jays. Didn't he come down out of the booth to manage for a little bit, or was that just Bob Brenly? Did Buck Martinez manage? I'm looking on screen like producer Steve is here. We should figure that out. Addie's about to watch me, but also watch the Rays over at George Steinbrenner Field. I'm excited about. He did manage. Okay, I thought I remember that. As far as House of the Dragon too, I absolutely love the series. I think the second season's great. I think season 1 is solid. I think I've said before in the show it's a little too dark in tone. Well, it's not the tone that's the problem. It's just it swims around in the darkness a little too much. Where I think what I loved about Game of Thrones was also the humor and a little bit of zest that it had. So hopefully season 3 will be even more of that. I know there's an interview out today. Alden Diaz actually sent me. This is my relationship, my friendship with Alden Diaz. He sent me first a link. Hey, new interview. Pop your popcorn. Condell has responded, and it's an article in EW from Ryan Condell, the showrunner of House of the Dragon, including responses to George R. R. Martin. So I was like, oh, great. And then before I could even read the article, Alden goes, here's the most relevant bits for your convenience. He knows me well, that I don't have time to read these. But if you just give me the Reader's Digest version, I'll get to it. All right, let's take and season 3 production did start today, as Eddie says. All right, let's take a call from, we got ourselves a Blue Jay fan, and I want to know more about this. Cam Haas is here. What's going on, Cam? How you doing? How does it feel to be a Blue Jay fan?
Ken, it does not feel great to be a Blue Jays fan. How you doing?
Hit me. Tell me why.
I mean, they had the lineup like a few years ago. Like they had the window, and within that window, didn't even win a playoff round. Like it's so demoralizing.
Did they even make it, or wild card team maybe?
Yeah, we were a wild card. Let me put my my AirPods here for Ken. Wild card team. Not we were wild card team. Not last year. Year before, and they lost to the. I know they lost to the Rays the 1 year last. Who was it? 2 years ago they lost. I don't know. I try to, once
They
it
lost.
happens, I try to, completely dissociate from it. But they had
That's smart.
when they had that year with Marcus Semien, they had a good lineup that year. They still had Vlad had his almost MVP year, but
I
Ohtani,
like I like Vlad. I like Vlad Jr. And it's interesting too because there was a period of time in my life as a baseball fan where the Blue Jays were absolutely top of the pops, and they were a scary good team. And it's weird sometimes to think that the franchise, which started to make the playoffs in the mid '80s and started to contend in the late '80s, has just kind of fallen off for too long. I like Toronto having a good baseball team, and they're often in. Cam, how do you feel about this? They're often in the conversation for some of the big free agents. Shohei Ohtani is going to visit the Blue Jays. That means there's some respect within the clubhouses, but they can't get over that hump. I don't mean to drive that pain home to you.
No, trust me. Has been the pain the last couple years. I mean, Ohtani. I know you always followed very closely. He was, we were tracking his jet to Toronto. We were. There was reporters saying it's basically as close to a done deal as a done deal can be. Ken. And I wish I could articulate for you.
You were this close. You were this close.
It's like we're in on everyone. It's like we're always going on dates, but we're never having a girlfriend. It's tough.
This will seem weird to say, but this was a little bit of being a Yankee fan in the early '90s and late '80s. It's weird to say because of what they were before and what they became again. But there was a period of time where I remember we were trying to get Terry Pendleton. And this is before he went to Atlanta. And it was like Terry Pendleton. He went on to be the MVP in Atlanta. He actually broke Barry Bonds' streak. But at the time in the papers, we weren't on the old internet. It was like we were tracking Terry Pendleton meeting in New York. And it was like, wow, will we actually get a free agent of import? It was a weird time. So I know that feeling. And it didn't work out. And we didn't get Strawberry at the time. Later we did, but.
And there's been a lot of negative attention in the media too. I know there's been a lot of NBA players on podcasts talking about like, oh man, I hated playing in Toronto. Especially just because they have to going through customs every time, and I understand if you're an American baseball player, it's probably the one place you don't really want to play. So it is tough being like the one Canadian team in a league. I'm a big Habs fan as well, as I've mentioned on here before, and that's a bit different. We got 7 of us there, but. Do you have a favorite Blue Jay of all time before I let you go, Ken?
Favorite Blue Jay of all time? That's a great question. Fred McGriff's probably the answer, the crime dog in his time there. I'm just a Fred McGriff fan overall. So I like him. And then my second favorite, maybe Ernie Witt and his mustache. He looked 50, but he was like 28. And Tom Henke as well, an 80s closer with glasses. I like him.
Oh, yeah. I'm very envious of my dad. He'll sometimes he'll grace me with his stories of the early 1990s where he had the Montreal Canadiens winning Stanley Cups in April, and then he had the Blue Jays winning World Series in September, October there. And Dan Marino as his quarterback. So it's
that's right. You got the weird Dolphin Toronto connection. Yes, that's right.
Dolphins, Toronto, Montreal, all over, Ken.
Well, too, as a Dolphin fan. Well, no, actually, it's a little different as a Dolphin fan. I was just talking about this on Winston Marshall's stream yesterday. Dolphins do seem to attract a big free agent here and there, or a big get like a Tyreek Hill, but it never seems to work for us. It doesn't put us over the hump, and it's just like I think everyone comes to Miami and gets soft, and that's its own kind of date, but no prom.
It's its own paradox, Ken, if I'm using that term correctly, because I think it's the player, you can attract the big free agents in Miami, which none of my other teams are able to do. But then they come to Miami, and it's almost like the people that want to be in Miami are the people that shouldn't be in Miami. That's my philosophy. The personality type that wants to be there probably shouldn't.
Yep. And we have a great reputation as the organization that treats the players the best. They have the best food in the clubhouse and the training facilities and everything, and it's Miami, baby. We need the Buffalo Bill mindset, the mindset of the Buffalo citizens in Miami on our team. That's when we'll start to work.
Exactly. Ken, always great talking to you, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Cam Hass. Cam Hass calling into the show in a few minutes here. We got producer Steve. He's settling into his chair. We're going to do 16 seconds of sports. Sports heavy today, but also Blather Bracket, pop culture heavy. If you don't know about the Blather Bracket, don't worry. We'll explain and give you a chance to vote. If you're watching live here, you might be watching on Twitch. A couple people checking in on Twitch. I will try to drop the Blather Bracket in there, or you can head on over to the YouTube channel and get your votes in here as well. Thanks to Addie for calling in. I think she got home safe. She got home safe, I think. All right, she's in chat. Okay. All right. He's got his hair ready. Are you ready, Producer Steve? He's got a thumbs up going. Producer Steve checking in. All right, buddy. We got a lot to get to today. This is exciting. It's so exciting. I wore a Game of Thrones beanie today, even though we're not talking Game of Thrones in the Blather Bracket.
I was going to say, yeah, we're not quite there, but that is very exciting. Thank you as always for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Just in the nick of time. Baby just went to bed, so we just made it.
Baby, come back. Okay. If at any point during one of these shows you're like, I got to go, I'm a dad. You're free to go. Your contract is, very loose. Okay. LQ says, hey, Steve. Laserbolt checks in. Laserbolt, what is your watch hours up? We need to know. All right. We got the big Blather Bracket, Steve, but we got 16 seconds of sports. Let's get right to it.
Let's get to 16 seconds of sports. Here we go. All of the 1 seeds in the men's NCAA After Sports Tournament have advanced to the Final Four. The women's Final Four will be finalized tonight. Those games are going on right now. TCU is playing Texas, and UConn will play USC. In the men's game, you've got Florida, Auburn, Houston, and Duke. In the NBA, there was a big fight over the weekend. Well, big for NBA standards. 5 players and 2 coaches were ejected. There were some words, some fingers were pointed, some scuffles were had. There was a play at the rim, and some guys got a little heated about it. Nothing major, no fan involvement like the Malice at the Palace. But Pistons. People see the Pistons get in a fight, and they're like, "Ooh, did Ron Artest punch someone in the face?" No.
Did Bill Laimbeer bring back combat basketball? Yes.
And then over the weekend, we had baseball opening weekend, just flourishing again. We're all just happy to have baseball back. You've covered the Yankees and their bats already. And then in the NFL, the tush-push ban is officially on the table. We're supposed to have it tomorrow, supposedly, on whether or not it will be banned. And I will certainly have thoughts if that's the case.
All right, well, let's start there. Set up what the tush-push is for those who aren't familiar with the tush-push in terms of football. And then we can get into why it's bad or good. Or neither.
No, thank you so much. Good setup. So the tush-push is essentially your quarterback sneak. So you need that last yard. It really is just a version of the quarterback sneak where the quarterback snaps the ball and just dives forward to try to get that last little bit. But the Eagles have put a little spin on it where they stack the line. They get tight ends and running backs right up behind the quarterback, do a little wedge deal, and they kind of push Jalen Hurts in the booty to get him over the line. And so there has been some saltiness from around the league because the Eagles are really, really good at it, and a lot of other teams aren't, Ken. And so if you ask me, it's a skill issue. So,
I agree with you. This is like the Yankee bats. I don't know where Billy Business is. He ran away afraid. The Yankee bats are legal. The tush-push is legal until maybe it isn't. And then you have a different thing. I know there's been some Chris Jones of the Kansas City Ball Club raised some injury concerns and everything. Okay, show your evidence, show your work. Maybe I can get behind that if that's what. Show your work, as producer Steve tapping his work finger. So
Chris Jones is complaining about the tush push being safe when the line of scrimmage is like this, folks. You're going against each other like this. Yeah. Chris Jones lined up like this, and he complained that he got hurt. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Narcolepsy 27 says maybe if it was a pudge nudge, let's rebrand it. Will McClain says, are there any legit player safety concerns? That's the question, you're raising it.
Question. Will McClain, you raised a great question. Ken, there's safety concerns. Football is a safety concern, and I know you could say that for just about anything. Yes. If we're going to really get down to playing at the line of scrimmage is dangerous, you're insulting everyone who played offensive or defensive line in football ever.
We're 5 years away from flag football, if that's the case. And I'm someone who is for some of the rule changes that protect players. When you go back and watch, like someone posted the opening of like NFL Today on CBS, the opening highlights from like 1978, the opening credits, and they were like literally every play in this highlight is banned today.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I laugh at that, and an old timer would be like, we used to play football. Yet the proof is in the pudding that now those guys are walking vegetables, and that's a problem. So we have to protect them if we're going to continue the sport. So I'm all for looking at the dangers, but I've yet to accept that the tush push is part of that.
And full disclaimer, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm totally in the bag for this and totally biased in favor of this, but there is evidence to point towards, my position. The Bills tried this several times. It didn't work for them. Some teams have stopped it. The Packers were one of the teams that I think actually did stop it against the Eagles in the regular season. Washington famously made a fool of themselves trying to stop it, even though they had a couple plays where they did okay. But make sure your quarterback can squat 600 pounds and you have the best offensive line in the league. It's not hard, folks.
There you go. I think David McKay checking in from across the pond says it the best. Ban American football. It's the only way to be sure. Now, Alex C. says something that I actually agree with. Look, hey, if the tush push is legal, then players should be able to go on each other's shoulders and block kicks. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. The guy last year, what game was that? The Washington game, who got 3 straight penalties for like time and a leap over, and that wasn't even on a kick. I don't think. I think it was just on a 4th.
That was a tush push. Yeah,
that was a tush push.
Yeah,
I'm good with that kind of stuff. If you can block kicks by quickly getting a safety up on a linebacker's shoulders, go for it. Let's make football fun. Let's do it.
Well, Troy Polamalu famously of Head and Shoulders commercials and the Pittsburgh Steelers was notorious for timing. Yeah. Well, I could only wish. He was famous for being able to jump the line. He had a few plays where he jumped over the line of scrimmage like that and blew up the backfield. I don't know if he ever did it on a kick, but yeah, sure. If you want to stack people up in like a pyramid, a la like synchronized swimming kind of looking like, but you have to do it pre-snap. That's the rule. You have to choreograph it all pre-snap.
I would say pre-snap is good. I would say if you can do it in the time it takes to get the kick up, I'm good. So if we can have these NFL players getting trained by cheerleaders, what would it take? It would take the cheerleaders to train the football players to make a pyramid in less than 1.1 seconds or whatever. I'm good. I'm good, Alexi. I'm good with it.
We just fixed kicking again.
We just fixed the NFL. We just fixed the NFL.
Now I'm gonna ask for money. At this point, now I need to get paid. All the other stuff is great, but now if the NFL takes our ideas, then we both need to get paid.
You hear that, good Al? You hear that? Pass. Baseball's back. It's been a great opening weekend for a Yankee fan with their space bats. You as a Reds fan, it's a little less, huh? A little less?
Yeah, not great. We had a pretty good start against the Rangers today. The Reds were 1-2 against the Giants. Typical Reds series is what it looked like this week, but it's early. I have a fun, exciting player in Ellie De La Cruz to root for now. So
it's a great player.
That's what's like. He has almost single-handedly got me to like fall back in love with baseball just from wanting to follow it and be passionate about it. Just having fun to watch.
You got a great manager too.
Yeah,
Tito.
Yeah, it was a rough weekend for him. A lot of Reds fans are giving him flack for the way. Yeah, it was just there were some interesting decisions this weekend, but again, team, new manager. We'll see how things go.
That all goes away when you win. All goes away when you win.
It's been 30 years, Ken. 30 years.
It's been there. Speaking of team, a legacy team that I think the sport needs to have the Reds as a good team. I think that'd be good. All right, NCAA. I'm actually doing this little side job right now where I'm producing helping, I should say, to produce a women's basketball program podcast on Odyssey, and so I have to kind of pay attention to the women's bracket tonight. Big games going on, so. No upsets really in the entire tournament. Everything's kind of gone as planned, right?
Yeah, especially on the men's side. This is the first time we've had 4 1 seeds on the men's side since 2008. The women's side is also a lot of favorites, but that's not as atypical for the women. A lot of times the favorites are usually really good in the women's tournament. But I'll tell you, I was talking about this with my wife earlier. Even the women's game is just better now. I'm sorry, it's is. Better. The last few years, it's just better. I could name more women's basketball players than I can men at the moment, and I watch sports. I don't watch men's basketball the way I used to, but there's just like more interesting storylines and more, I think, interesting stars on the women's side right now. So
we should follow the WNBA too. Where's my card? I was looking up some points, some cards I have last night. Look at this. I have a 1991 Hoops Scottie Pippen. I have this. Here it is. This Cameron Brink rookie card. PSA 10, it's like a $50 card.
Nice.
I might have a PSA 10 here. The game's exciting. I was watching those games last year, Caitlin Clark, everything in the finals, all that good stuff. And I know she's not the only one, but she's helping to bring eyes. And as was said this weekend, we're all eating. We're all eating. She's doing good.
Absolutely.
But anyways, but the college game's going good too.
Yeah.
0898 for M. You're excited about the Cam Brink card? I'll sell it to you. $40 cash, American. All right, got it. We're doing an auction. We're doing a sports card auction right here, right now. All right, we got this. That sports. 16 seconds of sports, Steve.
Sports. That's sports, Ken.
Sports. Will McLean has an interesting point. Product of women having to stay in college for 4 years. They don't have a transfer portal, right? They don't have this thing going on now that a lot of the other sports are dealing with. The men's game in the after school sports. Is that it?
Well, I think there's. I'm not sure exactly. I think there is a transfer portal. I'm not sure how the rules were. I know the WNBA has different rules about when you can enter it, as opposed to the NBA has changed some of that recently. But
you can transfer, but you can't go pro. Okay,
right. So they have. I think the transfer portal is the same, but the portal is what we talked about this last week. Cinderella's dead, and the portal killed her. These, and that's not my take. That's just what everyone's been talking about for the last few weeks. Yeah. So, good players from the mid majors get scooped up by the Dukes and the Floridas and the whoever's the number 1 seeds, and that's how it goes. So
that's how it goes. You want to go to a good school, but the one that sells the most T-shirts, maybe. All right, let's move to the Blather bracket. We got the close of the second round or first round is minutes away.
Yes. So yeah, the first round has closed for voting, and we have tabulated some upsets here. And so we're going to go over the upsets from the first round instead of going over every single matchup. If we did every single matchup, we'd be up here all night. We've got other things you want to get to, Ken. So I made some brackets some graphics to talk about the upsets. And then for round 2, we will start round 2 on Thursday. We will unveil the matchups for round 2. And then I'll put in the link on Thursday for the voting. We'll open up the bracket. We'll open up the bracket on Thursday and do the voting over the weekend, just like we did this one.
There you go.
And man, round 2 is going to be spicy. We have some tough. Round 2 is where it gets hard. Round 1 was easy, folks.
Round 1 was easy. It was spicy. The spice is coming, I should say. All right, this is great. So you want me to just work through these pictures 1 through 8?
Sure. Yeah. Go for it. And just so for everyone, just catch up. We got 4 regions: Star Trek, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and the MCU. We're counting down 16 seeds from 16 seeds in a matchup of a March bracket, just like the after school sports. And so let's do it. Let's look at some upsets from round 1.
Let's do it. Also, shout out to Winston A. Marshall. He had a great 12-hour live stream yesterday. I was fortunate enough to stop on, so check it all out and go help Winston. I'll answer your text right here, Winston. Yes, we're still on. Let's choose the location. All right, here we go. Number 1, we have this one, Steve. Take us through it. Big upset.
Yeah, the 12-5. There's one in every tournament. Spock's Vulcan neck punch on the Punk is the winner as a 12 seed over the 5 seed. The Enterprise rises out of Titan from Star Trek Into Darkness. Not a super unexpected one, being a 12-5, but still a big upset. And you have a little connection with this one, right, Ken?
I do. So I'm party pals with the guy who played the Punk in Star Trek 4 as a performer, designer, worked with the Muppets, everything. His name's Kirk Thatcher. A absolute character, a sweetheart of a human being, just a big ball of presence, and he is pals with Jen Miro, who checks in on the show here every once in a while. And I'm going to try to confirm this, but I think we said if this scene wins this round, we'll get Kirk to come on and talk about that scene with me and Jen. So I'm going to work on that Wednesday next time I see Jen, and this is going to be big. I've heard some of the stories. Kirk was Leonard Nimoy's assistant, and that's how he got kind of thrown into it. But that's who Kirk is. He is that Punk. He is that guy. So big upset there.
Big upset. That's awesome. Well, maybe that'll get a little extra juice for that 12 seed. I don't think we're supposed to do that as media members. Ken, we're influencing the voting, but what the hell.
Oh,
the cat's out of the bag at this point, right?
At this point, what are you going to do? All right, so that's the first upset, the Blather bracket. We're sticking in the Star Trek round for this upset here. Take me through it. This is, I don't know.
This is another big one, a 13 over a 4. Those are not as common as the 12-5. The number 4 seed goes down here. First warp flight from Star Trek First Contact. Loses to Scotty talking to the computer from Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. And people love Scotty talking to the computer.
So, do you think this is breaking this down here? Do you think this is nostalgia? And I have I think that's fine, but do you think there's a little nostalgia that just pushed this over? Because that 4 seed was a big poignant scene, I thought.
I think it's a flavor of nostalgia, right? It's the you get a different kind. It's kind of like the difference between the first time you see the Falcon jump to light speed versus a more like kind of heartwarming moment, right? It's just they're two different types of feel good, and I think people just went for the human moment here over the adventure one, right? That's kind of how even though they're talking to a computer, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I think so. And did we Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home. Okay, cool. All right, so the next one in the Star Trek round. Yep. This is big. This is an 11 over a 6, but again, Star Trek 4. I just think it's big in everyone's hearts, and that's okay. That is totally okay. And this was probably one of my favorite scenes that we have in the Star Trek bracket. That Jared pointed this out to me watching this when we were putting this one together. And I know the big battle from the Wrath of Khan is a huge scene, but this again. Human moments in a crazy universe and a crazy world that is Star Trek. Those are fun. They kind of connect us to some livelihoods. So we like livelihoods. It's funny too. It's hilarious. It's just there's whales. Like holy shit.
There's a Star Trek 4 man. Yeah. 8984 says a lot of 4 lovers here. He said that with the energy of a 25-year-old, 26-year-old who's like, yeah, you and your whale comedy picture. Maybe I don't know. All right, that's the big upsets in the Star Trek round. We're gonna do a recap. We're not gonna set up the next round, right? We're gonna.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're just gonna go over upsets for now, and then we'll reveal that's what Thursday's show will be, is kind of going over the round 2 bracket and opening voting. So we're going to go over upsets here. And spoiler, there were no upsets in the Star Trek region, folks. Total chalk, which means all the
Star Wars region.
Star Wars. Right? Yeah, I'm sorry, we just did Star Trek. Star Wars region, all favorites all the way down. Okay. There were a couple close ones, but all favorites all the way.
All favorites all the way down. Okay, that makes sense. All right, if you just joined us, we have launched this thing called the Blather Bracket. It's our version of March Madness. We have 4 regions of best scenes in Star Wars, Star Trek, MCU, and Lord of the Rings. We're running through the bracket. And on Thursday, like Steve said, unveiling round 2, this 32 round here as we work towards Sweet 16, the final 8, and then the 8, and then the ultimate 4. We got to figure out a term that.
We just got to look through something that's not trademark, man. It's tough. We'll figure it out.
All right. Next up, we got Lord of the Rings. We got an upset here. Not surprised with this one, though.
Not as surprising, but yeah, this was. I thought 11 was a little high for this scene, but there's a lot of really good scenes in Lord of the Rings. I Am No Man for Return of the King beats For Frodo from Return of the King. So really a character moment here over a overarching kind of big end of battle scene moment. I guess you could say.
Yeah, it might just be with Aragorn. It's a great moment. It's one of my favorites, but we have a few to choose from with Aragorn. When we don't have as many. So love that. The big upset there. Going back to now, we got this one. I don't know how this happened, Steve. I'll be honest. I don't know how this happened. Both are good scenes. Here's the benefit. We win either way here.
Okay, well, I'm interested in your take on this because while as much as I think Boromir's death as the 7 seed over the 10 is the right, I think the seeding was right here. But I kind of in the camp of I would have voted for 10. I mean, I was neutral, I didn't vote, but I would have voted for 10. I think especially in today's world, Boromir's death is an amazing scene. It does so much for the story and for the character. But even 20 years later, or over 20 years later, Sam's speech to Frodo in the Two Towers at the end about there's something worth fighting for. We could all listen to a little bit of that now. I still think. Yeah.
Look, and Addie's in chat saying, look, because that scene was what we need right now, and maybe that's it. Maybe this is fantasy finding us at our most vulnerable and what we need. I think that's right. That maybe takes away some of my personal animus towards this decision. Though again, these are both great scenes. Boromir's death is just one of those that's how you go out, man. That's how I always say, I love that term, go out on your shield. Don't hide in a corner, charge out, die in action. And Boromir, redeems himself, and it's a great ending. And Laserbolt said, I know his death technically is maybe supposed to be in the Two Towers story in the movie. They perfectly moved here for me. It's just one of those moments that I stop and watch because Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings, it's a great. I've seen it so many times. It's on in the background. I'll sit down and watch it, but you're getting up, you're making some food. That's one of those moments I personally got to sit and watch. But I think Addie's point is the prevailing point here on this upset. We need they're still good in this world.
Agreed. We could use, Sam's got words of advice for everybody. If we all listen to Sam, I think the world would be a little bit better.
We just gotta listen to Sam. All right, so that's the only major upsets in the Lord of the Rings category.
Just 2 in Lord of the Rings.
And now MCU, huh?
We've got 3 in the MCU.
All right. First up, take me through it.
Now this one is a fan favorite. I get it. I was a little surprised by this one. The 5 seed was 5 years later from Avengers Endgame, which was really one of just the biggest kind of like gut punch moments in a theater that I can remember. Against the 12 seed, which again, there's always a 12/5 in every tournament, but the elevator fight in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, to be fair, might have been a little high for a 12 seed, but hey, it proved its worth, and it is a hell of a scene.
It's a scene. It's a great scene. I obviously have less knowledge on the impact of MCU and the inner workings of the MCU, but I think I did go 12/5 here, and it's only because I think it's not what we need right now, but it is in terms of America fighting people in an elevator. But it feels like that sometimes. It feels like that might be what we need. I don't know. So let me get us back here. So okay, so that's a major upset there. 12/5. You said that's kind of a thing then, huh?
Yeah, the elevator fight scene. Does anyone want to get out? That's a major famous moment in the MCU. Captain America in the elevator with all the SHIELD agents who are really Hydra. So it's just it's a badass Captain America moment, and it is one of those kind of cheer moments in the theaters. But man, 5 years later is one of those theater moments I remember. Like I remember looking over at the people I was in the theater with, like to see what their reaction was, being like, "Holy,
really?
5 years later, it was just wild. Just weren't expecting it." Big up.
Okay, big upset. We got 2 more here. Next up here, the 11 and 6 seeds fight it out. We got a win for the 11th seed.
Yeah, big win for the 11th seed here. This is a little bit talking about nostalgia. I Am Iron Man from the original Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
That was a big kind of rah-rah, moment at the end there against a huge emotional gut punch from Infinity War when Thanos and Gamora get the Soul Stone. So I guess, people love the continuity, I guess, with I Am Iron Man.
They do. I think for me, the nostalgia, nostalgia is thrown around as a bad word, but it's just that, like, it's not even the nostalgia. It's that first time you felt like, ooh, in a Marvel movie, in the modern MCU. I know there were some Marvel movies before that there. And Addie says, set the tone for the whole thing. Lauren Romo, check it in. Lauren Romo, we're not ranking Detroit-style pizza toppings, but we will one day. All right, the final big upset in the MCU and the final big upset in the opening 64 of our tournament here. All right, I voted 7, but 10 comes away the winner.
Yeah, this was a big one, too. 2 kind of climactic scenes, death scenes in their movies. We Are Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, the big sacrifice at the end there against great performance from Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger's death in Black Panther. But We Are Groot takes the cake. It is another kind of setting this tone for at least for that story and kind of how those characters, kind of go through their journeys through a few movies. So that's not a huge upset, but I thought Killmonger would make it another round or 2, but yeah.
I would have too. I would have 7. I just one of my favorite characters in the MCU, and one of those deaths where you're like, you see the villain's point in a very powerful and poignant way. And often in modern storytelling, seeing the villain's point is confused. It's misconstrued. I always go to the points Kylo Ren was making in the entire trilogy, but especially Last Jedi, were not the points of the films, but. Killmonger, it resonated with me, but all right, he's gone, he's done, he's out. That's what we do. All right, so what's the plan, Steve, for Thursday? We're unveiling the second round.
So yeah, Thursday will be the second round. We'll take a break for a few days, just like the after school sports do. And on Thursday's show, we will unveil the round 2 matchups, and we will also bring the form live for round 2. So it'll be the exact same thing as this time. It'll be even shorter. It'll take you even less time because there are less questions to do, but it might take you more time because the questions are going to get way harder as far as picking between some of these matchups. The Star Wars scene, I think the Star Wars bracket specifically is going to be a bloodbath. It was all favorites to begin with. I don't expect it to shake out this way or that way, in round 2. So,
yeah, tough decisions coming as it's only getting tighter. Yeah, Addie says she's excited and nervous. Yeah, I agree that it's a lot of fun. And also, Steve, we want to really champion the Blather audience here, the Blather heads, if you will. It came out in droves for this. Great numbers on the voting for this. We're really excited about the participation.
Oh yeah, so excited. Between how many votes we got for folks that just picked what the last 2 regions were, and how the participation we got for the first round. So let's get more even for that for the second round, especially as these matchups get even harder. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who has participated. I know it takes a few minutes to do that, but really appreciate it. So much fun to go through and read the results and put all the graphics and stuff together. But round 2 is going to be crazy. And I think we can cook up a really fun thing here for the end, Ken, with getting folks to maybe represent some of these regions in a way.
Yep, we're gonna have the ultimate 4, as we might end up calling it. We'll see. We're gonna have some people representing these movies and talking it out, not debating, not fighting, talking it out and making a case. Making a case. That's what it is. Yeoman's work indeed. A lot of praise for Steve. Cameron has. Thank you for putting together, producer Steve. Big love for Steve. Indeed. Because without Steve, this would have been me going, I don't know, because my brain doesn't work well. So, Steve, thank you. I want to publicly just laud you. Just laud you publicly.
You're too kind. Thank you so much. This is fun, and I appreciate you giving me the time and the platform to do this silly stuff, and we get to talk sports and brackets. It's awesome. And appreciate
Science bats and Groot, all the stuff there. So, all right, second round comes Thursday. Everyone stay tuned for that. Thanks, Steve. We'll see you then.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Producer Steve, that's how you do it. That is how you do it. We have a Monday show here. If you got any super blathers like the ones here from buddy Ken Plume, send a little money love before he records. He's putting stuff together tonight. Fun episode on his channel, Force 5. Neck pinch you jux. Did we say, what did we say wrong? Did we say that the Vulcan, we probably did it wrong here. The Vulcan neck punch. Oh, I think that's just a typo. I think. I know it's a Vulcan neck pinch. It's not a punch. All right. So getting back to it there. So if you got any super chats, appreciate it. We call them super blathers. If you got a specific question, I will gladly answer your questions here, and we'll get to some calls. I want to get to some calls. Then I want to get back to that. All right. So Steve says, "Damn it! I think we just typed it wrong. It's a nerve pinch. It's a nerve pinch. The Vulcan neck pinch." All right. 898 for M. Are you ready? Brady, are you ready? Paige and Brady. Let's talk, you Dodger fan. How you doing?
I'm ready. I'm doing good. How are you?
All right. Take me through it. What's on your mind today? What do you think about those Blather bracket upsets?
Yeah, there's a lot of, not in a bad way, like nostalgic picks. I think people want for more iconic moments as well.
Right. Yep. The iconic, and the thing is, next week or this Thursday, the iconic moments will shrink, and you'll have to choose. You'll have to choose between iconic moments.
In tough moments.
All right. What's on your what's the question tonight? What's on your mind, Brady? Take me through it. What are you doing? Are you still recovering from sports pain? What do you got?
Doing better on the sports front. But speaking of nostalgia, I was wondering if you remember that old Geico commercial where someone in the hospital calls like first name Bob, second name we had a baby, it's a boy.
No. Yes. No. Yes. I mean, I remember all the Geico has 17 different spokespeople and logos and stuff. I think I remember it.
Yeah,
what year?
Like 2001, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up.
And yeah, it's basically apparently it was a thing at the time. I don't know. I need you to confirm. It was a thing, so people didn't have to pay the phone company if they wanted to get a quick message. He just
Oh, okay. It's boy. Oh, here it is. Okay. Bob, it's a boy. Okay. I do remember this. Okay.
yeah. So was that a thing back then?
Well, yeah, if you're going to make a collect call, how many collect calls have you made in your lifetime?
What's a collect call? Explain.
Yes. So like a collect call is and someone in chat maybe can take me through how you did it because it's been so long. I think I had to do like one or two in my life. You like call the operator on a payphone and like I'd like to place a collect call. So the person on the other end like says yes, I'd like to accept the collect call, and they'd have to like pay for the call. So if I was say stranded somewhere, I would say, "Hi, can I get an operator?" You press like 0 whatever, and I'd like to place a collect call to Brady 8984M Brady. Here's his number, and then the phone would ring. You'd answer it, and the operator would be like, "Hi, Brady, would you like to accept a collect call from?" And then I would be like, "Ken." So to get around that charge, because then you'd have to accept the charge. So if I was to get around and be like, "Ken, it's a boy," then you would know that's the message that I'm trying to relay, that I just had a baby boy, and then no one has to pay anything, Brady.
Wow. That's human ingenuity right there. I was geeking out about this. I was sending it to all my friends. They're like, "Wait, this is a thing?"
That's amazing. Brady. Brady, here's what I love. I think it takes a great courage to be like, "Look, I don't understand anything from this past. Could you explain it to me, old man?" And I think it's important. I think this could be an ongoing segment. Because the world's changed. Look, like we could make fun of me going, "Hey, what's a meme? What's a GIF?" But the world's changed, and the things that were just normal to everyday existence are now over 20, 25 years old. You have no chance of knowing what they are unless it's in a show.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. In my mind, the 90s are still like 10 years ago.
Same for me.
2005, and then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
LQ saying there wasn't unlimited calling on landlines. I mean, my grandparents until the moments they passed away about 5-6 years ago in their 90s, they were so worried about long distance charges that if you called them, they would talk for 10 seconds. They'd be like, "Hey, grandma, it's Kenny. And she'd be like, Kenny, how are you? I love you. Okay, Kenny, bye-bye," and hang up.
I remember those long distance charges. They still had them in like 2005 or 2006. I had international calls were crazy.
International calls, calling cards. Narcolepsy 27 said listening to an answer machine recording to get movie showtimes. You know what we got to do? You're inspiring me, Brady. We'll have to do a list. Maybe on my next Saturday show or next Monday. Just everyone here in chat, everyone listening, watching now, be prepared to call in or share in chat your favorite like thing from the past that is gone, that was a staple of your life. Like this wouldn't be my answer, but I used to love having to go get a new phone, like a landline. And I'd be all excited. I'd go to Best Buy and be like, "Ooh, what new landline am I going to get? What kind of answering machine? Am I going to get one with a cord or just a carriage?" Like, I don't have that anymore.
Wait, they had landlines? They had landline releases like they do like smartphones nowadays?
Yeah, the new lines. Ooh, the new fancy upgrades. Ooh, a digital recorder. Like instead of like, doing the answer machines where you'd literally have tape that you'd have to rewind. And you could call me to leave a message, and if it runs out of tape, you're shit out of luck. I don't get to hear your message.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to ask because you watch all these 90s sitcoms. They have this entire culture around answering machines, right?
Yes.
And there's that scene with like in Seinfeld where George has that he records a song with this.
Yes. Oh yeah, the phenomenon of parody or comedy outgoing messages. It's absolutely amazing. I miss some of that stuff. I don't miss phone calls as much. I don't talk on the phone often. I'm a texter. I don't leave messages, and I've had to explain to my mom several times, unless it's an emergency, if you call and it goes to voicemail, you don't need to leave anything. I will call you back. I will call you back. I'm probably 2 minutes away from my phone anyways. But it's just a staple. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Wait, so did people used to send like funny voicemails back in the day?
Addie says, I propose a segment where we ask Brady if he knows about old stuff. Yeah. First, Vermont Mike says, collect call is handled similar to a prison call. And we don't need to ask Vermont Mike how he knows that. Sorry, what was your question? Oh, yes. Yeah. You know, yeah, for me, calling and getting a voicemail was a chance to perform. I had 20 to 25 seconds to really make an impact, to leave something wry, cynical, snarky, and funny. And same with the outgoing message. You know, you put some effort into it. Now, Brady, if you were one of these people, we'd have beef. I didn't like when people did the thing where you'd call and then you'd hear hello, and I'd be like, hey, Brady, how you doing? Sorry, I can't come to the phone right now. Oh, it's a prank. And I used to get so angry. At that.
People still do that. Like, and yeah, it drives me nuts too. Because like, I don't know anyone my age who leaves a voice who has the was it called like the signature or something? The voice signature?
The outgoing message, yeah.
Outgoing message, yeah. People don't really record that, so like it really fools me because like, and I was like, come on, just no one does that anymore.
Joey B said, I remember if I wanted to watch a movie on VHS, it wasn't rewound. I would just watch another movie. Yeah, that's it. That's so true.
I think Lauren asked me, do you know what a VHS is? I know what a VHS is. They still had them in the 2000s.
Yeah, they did. No, the VHSs went longer than people remember. No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely did. I remember it was like mid-2000s when I was finally like, well, I guess I'm buying these DVDs now. I guess they're here to stay. Absolutely. And Grace and I still had a combo, a DVD VCR combo up until like 2 years ago, and it just stopped working.
Oh, I still have one and it still works.
See? All right. See, Brady's not as out of touch as you all think, you oldsters out there in the audience. And don't worry, Brady. It will happen to you too. No. You won't even guess. You won't even know. Oh. That's the thing. That's the thing about this that blows my mind is it is something that is part of your life every day. And then one day it is obsolete. And that's when it's hard to embrace change or the next generations or what's going on in the world sometimes, because you're like, just 2 weeks ago, I was using a phone book. Now you're telling me I don't even get them anymore? Like, it blows your mind.
Wait, are phone books, like, obsolete now?
I think you might be able to get some of them. I don't recall the last time I've had one. I don't know. But, yeah, that is the old phone books are here thing is no longer true for sure.
Yeah, makes sense, you know. I guess.
All right. I don't want to beat up on Brady. But I do want you to see if you could answer Steve here. Brady, explain to me how a fax machine works.
Okay, so I've never used one. So I think it's like a phone number. You dial the phone, you put in you scan like a printer, and it prints on the other fax machine.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's a phone number in which the information's transferred. It's still in use. There's still times I get hey, can you fax this in? Like, what are you talking about? I'll
people
scan
still
it in.
Fax?
My mailbox center, where if you guys want to send me something at 3727 West Magnolia Boulevard, Box 728, Burbank, California 91505. They charge like 10 cents a fax, and I've been there when someone's come in.
10 cents.
Yeah, I've been in there when like a nice old lady walked in with like 60 papers and was like, I need to do a fax, and it was like, oh boy. Oh boy!
Hey,
Vermont Mike says, "Yeah, pagers. We give you updated sports scores. Oh yeah, big stuff.
People still use pagers. I think in hospitals.
Yeah.
Also,
what? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
People still use telegrams in like the 90s, because I remember I remember my parents used to send telegrams to China because the phones were too expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. LQ says for some legal and medical docs you still need fax. So that's it. That's interesting.
Wow.
The pagers. What do you feel, Brady, when you're representing the mid-20s here, when people in your age group embrace old technology? For instance, one that comes to mind, an easy example, is like the flip phone.
Yeah.
even Chappell Roan had a flip phone, or maybe still does, but on her NPR Tiny Desk concert, she pulled out like a flip phone. And what do you feel about that as a youngster?
I love it. You
love it. Okay.
I had a flip phone for a long time. I didn't get my first smartphone until like I was 16.
What are you, my dad? Yeah. Yeah. The vinyl revolution. But here's the thing: the vinyl revolution. I guess it's in the same ballpark.
Cassettes?
I guess it's. I don't have any, and I'm obviously a big fan of Chaperone, but when someone like her or her age group, or I'm not even talking about famous people, is like, oh, I'm using a flip phone. I'm like, but we moved past that. Like, you don't have to do that. We walked so you could run. Don't go back. Don't go back. Don't do that. Don't do that. But there's some people that want to disconnect from the internet and have a dumb phone, not a smartphone. That I get. It's actually a plot point in Hacks. That's what made me think of it again. Where Hannah Embinder's character gets a flip phone to not send bad text anymore. So it's fact, but I just okay. But you like it, okay? I'm on board.
Yeah, I mean, I got a CD player recently. To play my.
Okay.
I feel like CDs have better sound quality than MP3s, or even like the highest quality.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's a great Portlandia joke that Carrie Brownstein makes in a sketch where her and Fred Armisen are playing music. I think her or Fred, maybe they both make the joke, but they're listening on a MacBook, and they're like, "Oh, this is exactly how music was why it was recorded, to be played on a scrunched up MacBook sound." Yeah, vinyl's even better. Cassettes might be not so much, but CDs, vinyl, do it absolutely. The sound is better.
Oh yeah, another like retro thing that the kids are into. I feel like Gen Alpha, they discovered the 3DS and the PSP, and now I'm starting to feel old because like, damn, like that's what I played.
See, Brady?
No one wants to play the smartphones or the Switch anymore. They want to play on like.
It will happen to you. Also, this is the least surprising thing I've ever seen on the internet. Laserbolt says, "I got my first smartphone in 2019." You don't need a smartphone when you're out there cooking forest meats. That's David McKay, do they keep their flip phone in their fanny pack? Yeah, baby. Yeah, absolutely. Will McLean has a great question. What do you think about smartphones that flip down? I'd be okay with that. That'd be good. And then Vermont Mike talking about Trapper Keepers, high top Reeboks. That's the life. All right, Brady. You didn't feel we didn't pick on you here, but this is fantastic.
Yeah, I got a one chance to respond. For that kid, that baby that was born in that commercial.
Yeah.
I know someone who's the exact same age, and she got engaged. She's newly engaged.
See, don't it will happen to you, Brady. Okay, it will happen to you. Just wait till you're talking to someone and they're like, I was born in 2021, and you're gonna be like,
oh no.
There you go. Vermont Mike said AOL Instant Messenger is potentially one of my answers for something that was so normal that is gone that I miss. But it might not be the tech, it might be the time. I don't know. But anyways, Brady, thanks for the call. You've inspired a segment. We're going to work on this. We're going to develop this.
And thank you for having me.
All right. 898-4M, Brady, one of our mainstays around here. I'm about out of here. I do have to get to some work tonight following closely the NCAA women's bracket. But we did some great work tonight here, kids. We did some great work tonight. We are gonna do this. I want all of you to get ready. You got some great answers tonight. But I want your one or two answers of things you miss that you think maybe could still be of use. And we'll talk about it. JMB says, Brady, the Wesley Crusher of the Blathering family. So true. Joey Beans says, God, you should have a conversation on 80s and 90s McDonald's. It begins and ends with the McDLT with me, Joey, and I think you know that. So I'm going to get out of here tonight so I can get to some work. A lot of fun. Thank you, Producer Steve, with the Blather bracket. He's doing so much wonderful extra credit work here. He's going to be our professor soon enough. Take over my job. Thursday, second round, not Sweet 16, but the nice 32 round of the Blather bracket. It's going to get hard. I really appreciate your votes. And Ranger Donald says, I'm missing out on a really good women's game right now. All right, I'm going to get to it. You guys are the best. Now, Jackson, Mr. McClunky, we love you being around here. So thank you for listening. Support on Patreon. Trying to build up those Patreon supporters at any level. Patreon.com/Napzok. Get Pop Rocket Radio. Real fun episode this last week, including the return of the Moon Agers. Check it all out. We'll see you next time. Bye.